When we last met up with Kelli and Kanybek, we were in the process of going through the repair negotiations and getting ready to make sure that we got all that mold remediated. Everything has been accomplished since the last time, and today we're over here at the Stewart Title Company so that we can go over their seller closing documents. They'll be here in just a few moments. 16,000 Americans sell their home every single day. Have you ever wondered what the story of selling your house looks like? Real Estate, the Untold Stories is here to take the uncertainty out of selling by showing the process firsthand with real sellers. Join in with Kanybek and Kelli and their family of 7.5 as they share the story of their home selling journey, so you can learn from their experiences of what it's really like to sell a home. Signing day. It's the day of enjoyment when you know everything has gone right and we're about to close on your house. In the case of Kelli and Kanybek, I'm on the way to Stewart Title right now to go meet up with them to sign their seller closing documents. It's been such a magnificent ride with Kelli and Kanybek and their family of 7.5. There have been so many different challenges that came up throughout the process, from the listing preparation phase to the time on market, then the negotiations and the closing process itself. They have triumphed every single step of the way, and I couldn't be prouder of them, and I'm super excited to go meet up with them, sign their closing documents, and help them get on their way to their next destination. Kelli and Kanybek have done an amazing job through the entire process, and with today being the signing appointment, I'm super excited for them, because one of the things that we've held very close to the cuff is we had a timeline in mind here. From the very get-go, from the listing preparation, from the first conversation, that timeline, that main overarching goal, in addition to selling their house, was to have it done no less than 10 days before Kelli gives birth to baby number 4 for their beautiful family. And as of right now, as of today, we're roughly 10 days away from Kelli giving birth to baby number 4. We've hit every nail on the head throughout the entire process, and we've overcome so many challenges to get to where we are now. Not only are they selling for the best price the market's willing to bear, we've minimized their pain, we've maximized their profit, we've hit their timeline, and throughout all of this, we've become very good friends that will last a lifetime. All right, we're pulling up to Stewart Title right now. I'm excited to go meet up with Kelli and Kanybek, join in on their success and delight. And I just want to share with you that when you get ready to sell a home or even buy a home, everything is good so long as you have the right team. So I'd ask you to make sure that when you get ready to go into home selling or home buying mode, to please ensure that you're doing your due diligence, you're checking online ratings, online reviews, and that past sales performance of a real estate agent, and make sure that you have the right team on your side with the biggest investment of your life if you're buying, or the biggest asset of your life if you're selling. Keep that in mind as we move forward, but for now, let's go celebrate Kanybek and Kelli's success.
Hey Andrew, how are you?
Good, good. How are you?
Very good.
I hope you had a good drive. I know. Are we shaking or are we hugging?
We're doing both, I guess.
I feel like we're family.
We're family now.
Right now we're a family.
Yes.
Right. Oh man, it's
Still doesn't
exciting.
feel real, Andrew. I'm
For
telling
me,
you.
it's like, I don't know if I should really like smile and like this, or should I wait? I don't know. It's exciting. Hello. Good morning. How are you?
We're here to sign their seller closing documents.
Perfect. You guys want any coffee or water before you go in? Cookies?
They do have Otis Spunkmeyer, and I know that she personally cooks those.
This
She does have Otis Spunkmeyer cookies. If you want some coffee.
That's the number you want to talk about?
sure.
Hi, bud. What are you doing? It's an exciting day.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, you guys excited?
This is just Wednesday.
Right? He's like, yeah, it's just a good day for me. That's it.
Whilst Ari is being cool and collected whilst enjoying a cookie in the waiting room, Katie Henry's getting everything ready for the signing.
Alright.
This is Katie. She'll be
Katie,
signing
hey,
with you guys.
how are you?
Nice to meet you,
Nice
Katie
to meet
Henry.
you. I'm Connor.
Hi.
Katie.
Nice to meet you, Kelli. Hi, bud. And there he is. Hi, Ari. We'll have you guys sit down on this side of the table, and if I could borrow your driver's license.
I'll see you in a few minutes. This is where the real fun and the magic begins, getting the closing documents signed. See you in a few.
Since we can't be in the room to see the process, here's Katie with the breakdown of what's going on.
Congratulations, you have an offer on your home and you've accepted it. So you've filled out a residential purchase agreement. You've gone through all of the details from price to who's gonna pay what fee, what date we're gonna be closing. When it was signed by the buyer, they submitted it to the escrow and title company. In some states, title and escrow can be separate. In Nevada, we do escrow and title together. When they give me this contract, it creates a guideline of things that I'm going to start to complete to create the financial balance of the transaction, to see how much a seller is going to walk away with in proceeds, and to see how much a buyer will owe at the end of the transaction in closing costs. Once we input all the information for the contract, our title department is going to create a preliminary title report. And this is going to create kind of a guideline, a roadmap, if you will, to what needs to be researched against the property in order to make it a complete transaction that's insurable and marketable title. Some of the things that are standard on any transaction are going to be that we all pay taxes. So listed in your preliminary title report are taxes. Also easements, things that have been done to create the community from when it was dirt on the ground to the buildings and the structures and the roads. There's going to be mention of if there was a homeowners association. As the escrow officer, I'll look at a homeowners association and I'll know that I have to order a payoff from that association so that they can provide me with what your monthly or quarterly or yearly dues are, and then any sort of transfer fees, any sort of capital contributions that might need to be collected as part of the sale. After we see homeowners associations listed, we usually see if there's a payoff that's also against the property or a loan that's against the property for the seller. We'll contact the lender in order to get a payoff directly from them. We might ask you to sign something up front to say that you're authorizing us to collect this information. We'll need the loan information and the name of the lender for sure, because sometimes even after you've made a purchase, the loan can be transferred to another servicer. So if it started off with lender A, it could actually be serviced by company B. Once we've collected invoices for the various things that are in the preliminary title report, we'll compile the information. And when you sit down with an escrow officer or a signing officer for your closing, they'll present to you an itemization of commission, payoff, taxes, sewer, trash, homeowners association, what charges might remain against the property, if there were any kind of liens or judgments that might also be listed here. We'll show you an estimated settlement statement, and if the buyer's financing their purchase, we'll also show you a closing disclosure, sometimes commonly referred to as a CD. It's the same information, it's just itemized a little bit differently and formatted in a different way. Aside from the financial aspect of your transaction, there's also some disclosures that'll be reviewed with you at closing. Escrow instructions are one example of a document that'll be reviewed with you at closing. This is going to be the guidelines of what happens during the course of the transaction from the beginning to the very end. In some states, an attorney would handle the sale of your property. In Nevada, it's not required. We are licensed escrow officers and title officers. This document advises you that we're not attorneys, but if you needed legal advice, you should seek counsel. By the end of the transaction, we're going to have signed documents and funds in place in order to make the sale binding. This is authorizing us to close escrow once we're in a position to do that. We'll need some information from you about where to send your closing package or anything else that we might need to mail to you in the future. Occasionally, after the close of escrow, there may be a refund that was lingering, that we paid taxes, but they were already paid maybe by a lender or paid automatically from an account that wasn't disabled. It's helpful for us to have an accurate mailing address and also a phone number and email address. So we'll ask you to bring some banking information if you choose to have a wire transfer for your proceeds. With larger amounts that are due after a sale, it is recommended to have a wire transfer. But some people are still more comfortable with a check, believe it or not. That's okay too. We're happy to oblige either way. The real estate agents that worked with you and the buyer throughout the transaction are going to be paid a commission. This commission was already negotiated with your listing agent prior to you filling out the purchase agreement. Now at the very end, we're just having you agree once more that you know what the total commission percentage was and if there were any additional fees that were due to either agent as a part of the transaction. The IRS is going to ask for a little bit of information as well. When we're filling out your closing documents, we'll go through a questionnaire to see if at the end of the transaction we should issue a 1099. In some cases, a 1099 isn't needed, but if we do have to issue one, we'll give it to you with your closing package at the end of the transaction. If you're a citizen in the United States or a non-resident alien, there's different tax laws that would apply to you that wouldn't necessarily apply to somebody that is a foreign investor. This form is to certify whether or not you are a foreign investor. If you're a foreign investor, FREEBIE regulations would apply, which would mean that we would set aside an amount and pay it to the IRS on your behalf, and then you can file with them just like a citizen would. If you had a lender that we're going to be paying off, we may ask you to sign an authorization to allow us to speak on your behalf about any of the terms of your loan. This is helpful when we're getting a payoff delivered to a lender. Sometimes more information would be needed in order to process the payoff. When we pulled the preliminary title report, it told us about any liens or judgments from a specific date called a plant date. Those were records that were made public and were available to our title department for review. Between the time that we pulled a title report and the plant date and the close of escrow, there may be new information that became available. What we're asking with an indemnity form is for you to guarantee that if there was something that was filed and you have knowledge of it, that you would disclose it to us. If you didn't disclose it to us, we're asking you to not hold us liable. This is an owner's affidavit. This is going to describe if there's any unrecorded liens or mortgages against the property. We'll also ask if there have been any improvements on your property, contractors that maybe did work but they haven't been paid yet. It's also important to disclose if there have been any other contracts for sale that haven't been canceled or listing agreements that may be still valid. These are items that will be disclosed with this affidavit. This is your deed transferring the title from the seller to the buyer. It'll be made public record so everybody knows the seller is no longer the person that holds interest to the property. It's the buyer now that owns the property. On the cover page, it'll describe the name of the sellers, the name of the buyers. On the second page, we'll have a signature and a notary. And the last page will be a legal description of the property. Accompanying the deed will be a declaration of value. It's a lot like what it sounds. It's going to show the price, and it'll show any sort of transfer taxes that are collected as part of the sale.
Stewart Title started in 1893 in Galveston, Texas, and since then we have grown and we are now a worldwide company, publicly traded. People ask me all the time, why do you work at Stewart Title? And the answer is simple. I've worked other places before, and when Stewart became a part of my life, I realized I was at home. The way we do things here and the family element that we have for such a large corporation, it's mind-blowing. It feels so great to be a part of something so big, but that is still yet so intimate. I've talked to plenty of people on the management team. I have their cell phone numbers, they have mine. We see each other at meetings. It's not like your normal corporation. We are real people who protect real people for a living. It's probably the coolest thing about Stewart Title. We do whatever it takes to make sure our clients are comfortable, and sometimes that means not just Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. There's never a time where someone's inaccessible, regardless of the day or time. That could be a celebrity that wants to stay in their hotel room for security reasons. We've had doctors that we sign between delivering babies or even doing surgical procedures. When they work with us, they have full access. So in the event that there's a situation or something that concerns them, or maybe something just felt off and they didn't realize it until Friday at 8 o'clock at night, someone's available to make sure that these clients are comfortable. And the reason we do that is because we're hoping that your client's experience with Stewart Title isn't the one experience with Stewart Title. We're hoping it's one of many. We want them to come back to us time and time again, just like we want them to come back to our realtors and our lenders time and time again.
Now that the signing is finished, let's see how it went.
Okay, so now we just completed the seller signing. Come on in. We can let you back in now. Katie, come on. You were asking a really important question a moment ago about the key.
Oh, do we want to take a picture with the big key?
Oh yeah.
Of course.
Fantastic.
There you go, bud. Hold the big key. Sold.
Sold.
From the seller side, we have sold.
Yeah,
All right.
mission complete.
You gotta get everything for Facebooking.
That's right.
Memories, this is a big milestone in life, is when you buy your first home and when you sell your first home.
That's right. 4 months pregnant. So.
That's my keynote.
I think she gave me this one.
That was mine.
Okay.
Well, Miss Katie, thank you so much for your
Yes.
time. Greatly appreciate it.
Pleasure. Thank
Always
you.
a pleasure.
Absolutely, guys. Congratulations.
Thank you.
We'll hope to give you good
Thanks so
news on
much.
Monday.
Absolutely.
Right? Yep.
The call for the wire transfer. So usually by next business day, if we record on Monday, you're going to get wire transfer done on Tuesday.
Wow.
Yep, and then expect it maybe towards like afternoon because we start processing everything in the morning.
So don't buy my next house until after.
Until afternoon on the 19th.
Okay, gotcha.
All right, well then that is for you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you so
Perfect.
So now that you signed your seller closing documents, how do you feel?
We're excited. It feels a lot more real now than it did an hour ago when we walked in.
I know, right? Kana?
I'm super excited, man. This is where I feel comfortable. I didn't let myself, I didn't let myself. Oh, this is
Excited, yeah.
to be excited because I didn't know. Maybe this may not work. Maybe they just decided. So this is. I feel today, right now, I feel really good.
It actually feels real.
Oh, perfect. Well, lastly, tell me a little bit about what your thoughts and experiences were from going from the pre-listing phase to the listing process and now finalizing the closing process. I know it's been a ride.
It's a complex it's an emotional roller coaster, to be honest with you. So pre-listing phase, when you're getting the house prepared, there's a lot of work involved with that. There's a lot of, exhaustion, I guess you could say. And then the listing phase, which is a totally different beast altogether, trying to keep the house show ready, the waiting, and the first offer, which was also an emotional experience, excitement that you got the offer and then disappointment with the offer itself. And we've been through a lot. I mean, the mold and the inspection and everything else. So yeah, I mean, to get to this stage, it's been a lot of ups and a lot of downs. So, but we're very, very grateful to have this experience.
It's been amazing, and it has been a great journey. And if we realistically rewind the clock a little bit, you realize all of this has been the last less than 100 days.
Yep.
Everything from the pre-listing phase to the listing phase, being bombarded with the 22 showing appointments, and then inside of 27 days get the offer, negotiating the offer amicably, getting into the actual closing process, and now here we are 5 days away from actual closing day. So I know that you guys have a lot going on, but when you bring it into context from everything before the market, the pre-listing phase was longer than the listing phase.
It was.
Getting everything ready.
Yeah.
The listing phase, remember I shared with you, if we do this right, we're going to minimize the pain and maximize the profit, so we spend more time in the game plan, going into the plan, get it done, and now this is that last step on your journey before you begin a new chapter, a new life. And I would like to be honest here, because part of it is, and this for me as a trusted real estate advisor is something I experience with people that I really enjoy, like your family. And it's hard because I know we've become good friends in the process. And I know that we'll always be in touch. But inevitably what's going to happen is you're going to go into move out mode, probably tomorrow, if not today, right? And we're going to kind of do this a little bit. And we'll keep in touch, but for the next 3 to 6 months, it's like a separation of all the wonderful conversations that we've been having on a near daily basis. For me, because I really care about you guys and very passionate about what I do, it's almost like a loss in a way where I actually get sad.
Yeah.
And I think to myself of the wonderful memories that we've been able to make together. It's just one of those things that I just wanted to tell you realistically from the bottom of my heart, looking forward to continuing our friendship.
Yeah.
Don't let it be like a separation, but only a temporary, we'll see you later. But
Got it.
from the bottom of my heart, I really adore you and your family. So thank you.
Thank you, Andrew. We
You're the
really
best.
appreciate all your experience, and it's been a lot more ups and downs. But it's been a journey for us, and we really appreciate you being part of that journey.
Well, thank you for the opportunity.
No, I think since beginning, you know, like since we picked you, right? I think everything was. They never off-roaded from that, you know what I mean? So the way we met, the way we talk has ever been since now. You didn't change, you know. That when you meet first-time people, then in a long run, you know, you may change, right? But it was from the beginning.
Always been authentically you.
Yeah.
It's been authentic.
So Andrew was Andrew. So anybody who wants to do business, I think they should do business people like you, Andrew Finney, because
professional.
Professional. Not only business deal, it's about what's right.
Developing relationships, and absolutely, I agree.
Absolutely. Yeah. So in this part, I need to cry a little bit.
I know, that's how it's emotional.
Anytime after hard job, in the end becomes happiest and the most awesomest time, So I definitely looking forward to, to more business for Andrew Finney, and then if people actually do more businesses from the Kana, then definitely let's do some Brazilian steakhouse deals, like we meet.
I'll tell you what, we'll put your Facebook information up so they can follow you, and maybe you'll get a business opportunity inviting you over to Via Brazil for the Brazilian steakhouse. Right?
Yep.
So thank you so much for including us in the process and opening up your lives to share the story that was going into the reasons why you sold your home to this family.
Yeah.
So I really, really thank you, and we're going to wish you well in every journey that you take in your life.
I'm into that.
I know you guys. What's next?
What's next?
Let's lift the emotion back up. Right? What's next? We got to go on the move out mode, right?
Move out mode.
Fantastic. Well,
Now in the mood.
right?
All right.
No, it's the next thing, now. But we're very, very happy, man.
Perfect. So, if I may,
Yes.
can I get one beautiful, great big hug?
Yeah.
All right. Andrew, thank you for everything.
Appreciate you.
We really appreciate you. Hannah and I have been,
Thanks so much, Andrew.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
very proud of our
Yep.
friendship that's developed through all
Absolutely,
this, so.
absolutely. Really, this is, yeah.
Well, I know you guys got a lot to do, so without further ado, let's get on to the move out phase.
All right.
You're gonna help us with boxes, right?
Absolutely. So I'll be over there packing up everything. See you guys. Congratulations. Congratulations.
Thank you very
Enjoy a
much.
beautiful day.
Thank you.
All right, bye.
Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.
Selling a house can be extremely emotional. It oftentimes feels like a roller coaster. It's not just the sellers that go through this process, but your agent is going through it with you. We have gone through a big journey with Kelli and Kanybek, and from the bottom of my heart, it really means so much to me to have this opportunity to be part of their journey as they grow with their life story and open the new chapter. Looking forward to seeing what happens for them, and I couldn't be prouder. Tell me what you're thinking about this series in the comment section below. We'd love to hear from you.
Coming up next time, Kanybek and Kelli share one last goodbye.
This house becomes someone else's home. So why don't we go room to room at your pace?
This is our wrestling room.
Reminisce as you need to. Remember it, because it'll be the last time that you're here.
And share some memories of the time they called this house their home.
It's about how the house fits into someone's life and their story.
When we first moved here, we didn't even have a bed.
She said, I'm willing to live with you, to be a homeless if needed.
I don't know if that's still true or not, no.